Welcome back to Opinion Leaders, everyone. And of course, now we will be talking about pets. And people are not the only ones who need stuff. A lot of pets need them too. And with us are three very special women. And from Cara, from the Compassion and Responsibility for Animals, we have Miss Carla Cangleon to my left, Miss Bimla Matsukani in the middle, and of course Miss Rebecca Cheng on the other side. So good evening, guys, and it's very nice of you to be here.
Hi, William. Thank you for inviting us.
Okay. To any one of you, can you tell our televiewers, and of course me also, what CARA is, Compassion and Responsibility for Animals? I like the name, and I like your advocacy, but what exactly do you do?
Okay, we are an NGO that started in the year 2002, and our main focus is animal birth control. It's to control the population of the street dogs and cats through kapon or neuter and spay.
I see. Okay. And because there is a problem, like when they're all in the streets and they just breed, and then there's so many puppies and kittens, unwanted, nobody wants to take care of them, and they just end up being neglected. Right?
And that's when the abuse happens. That's when you see a lot of dogs being hurt. They butcher the dogs, or they kill the cats. You may see the little kittens in the trash cans or in the side of the streets, like the little kitten we have here that Carla's holding that she picked up from the street. So neuter and spay actually controls the population, so we don't have so many of these animals being abandoned or abused out in the streets.
Okay, and how big is the problem here in the Philippines?
Well, I think it's a really big problem.
It's too big.
I can imagine, because anywhere you go, whatever part of the city, even provinces, you see, lately I've been seeing, and it's very sad, there are a lot of cats that are being run over.
Yes.
I don't know why, but of course, occasionally you do see them, but lately, maybe within the past month or so, I mean, on EDSA or even in the sides, there's been many. So I guess that means the populations are also going up, right?
A female cat that has not been spayed or kapon can produce as much as 420 kittens in 7 years.
Wow, in the lifetime of the cat, 420?
7 years, in a span of 7 years. So
that's not even considering the kittens who die.
So that's like...
That's just for one cat. In the span of 7 years, she can produce 420,000 kittens. So that's a really big number.
Okay.
And in a year, she can produce up to 3 or 4 litters. And in one litter, you can have 5 to 7 kittens.
And all of this, of course, just happens. So because there is no program and nobody's taking care of them, every, let's say, estrous cycle of the dog or the cat. They're being bred, and they're producing kittens, which is very stressful for the youngsters and very stressful on the reproductive cycle of the animal also.
And not to mention that these are mostly street animals, so the kittens, the offsprings, just roam the streets. Lots of times the mother cat or the mother dog has to go around in the garbage cans looking for food, so that's when they leave the little kittens or the dogs out in the streets that are out there to be hit by cars or stepped on by people, or maybe even worse, thrown boiling water, or all forms of abuse.
They do this, like throw boiling water.
It has happened, and we've seen a lot of, we've rescued a lot that really need care, and so it is quite, we need compassion. We need to highlight to everyone that we need to have compassion and, of course, respect for life.
True, in whatever form, not just human, but I mean,
Sorry, may I just add to that? It's not only you need compassion, but you need action.
Okay.
Compassion is not enough. It's almost like you're riding your car, you see a run over cat or something, you say, oh, kawawa. It's not enough. You have to do your part.
And that's a good point, and I think that's the next thing we need to talk about, is the action. So, Ms. Rebecca, what can we do, what are we doing, and what do we need to do?
Okay, so many things. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
With Ziki, this is Ziki.
Yes, this is a dog with us. My first feline and canine guest. Okay.
Okay, she was rescued. She was living under a truck. She was living on her own feces, no food, no water. She was emaciated. She was tied with a chain suited for elephants, you know, that thick. And then finally, the owner gave her to me. The owner said she was bought for 1,500 pesos by a family member, and then thinking that she was a golden retriever. When they found out that she's an Aspin, she was thrown away like a garbage, you know, like you're worth nothing because you're an Aspin.
Okay.
So if you really want to go for a purebred, research what you're buying.
Exactly.
And the best thing is do not buy from breeders because you don't know how they breed.
Yes.
A lot of our backyard breeders don't have a conscience, you know. So
Yes, that's very
one main thing. Do not buy from pet shops. You go to, I can't name names, but then you can see how they are treated in the pet shops alone.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
They're overcrowded,
Yeah.
and then a lot
Puppy
of people.
mills.
Yes, puppy mills. Puppy mills are very. I think you have to get from responsible people who know their breed, who know their pedigrees, who know the temperament of the dogs and the cats. And I think it's very important that you link your pet with your lifestyle because you cannot have let's say a Doberman Pinscher in a studio apartment.
Yeah.
I mean you can have a Chihuahua or
Yeah.
something. So I think the owner has to know exactly what they want, and it's not only what you want. Can you care for it?
Yes.
A pet is not for Christmas. It's not for your birthday. It's a lifelong commitment.
It's a lifetime commitment.
Yes,
They're
yes.
companion animals, as we call them. And one of our main missions in CARA is to educate what we call the humane education to promote responsible pet ownership. These dogs, they live for about 15 years. So that's 15 years of patience, love, and responsibility. And if you're not willing to sacrifice or to give out that love, please don't get a pet. Don't get a cat. Don't get a dog. You can volunteer. You can help in other ways, but don't buy a pet if you can't take care of one.
Yes, right.
You can sponsor as well.
And that's a good thing. Do you have sponsorship programs also?
Yes, we do.
For people who want to help but don't have the means. Let's say if I wanted to adopt a pet, but because of my busy lifestyle, I could not take care of it. I mean, in my home, is there a way for me to actually fund or give whatever it is that I could to help the pet have a better life?
Okay. I just like to emphasize that CARA, we are not a shelter.
Okay.
We are a low-cost spay and neuter clinic, so we don't have a shelter.
Okay.
A lot of the rescues that Rebecca and Carla do are on a private capacity, so all these animals go to their homes. So a lot of times they're overwhelmed with animals, and as much as they'd like to spend for all of them, all of us know it's really expensive to have so many animals.
True.
So in our website, in the CARA website, we have a page there for sponsorship. So like a dog can Zitty can be sponsored. You can help raise Zitty through Rebecca by paying for her medical bills, for her food, for maintenance. So that's what the sponsorship page is for.
Oh, I see. So that's wonderful. So you can help somebody who actually has the time but does not have enough funds to do it, and we do it like a team.
Yeah. That's right. They can check it out at www.caraphil.org. They can check out ways for them to help us, and of course help animals.
Right. And since you are a spay and neuter program, let's talk about that, because what people don't seem to realize is that, me being a pet lover also, I know that unless you're going into breeding, spaying and neutering is actually healthy for the animal, right? Because, for example, there are ways that you can, for example, pyometra in female dogs, right? I mean, it's a problem. So by spaying, we can also solve this problem, right?
A cat or dog that has not been mated will develop more of a risk of getting pyometra or cancer.
Yes.
Especially if you haven't mated the dog. So it's very healthy for them to, if you don't plan to have puppies, to have your dog or your cat spayed. And of course, it brings down all the hormones, it brings it down to a minimum, so they're not very aggressive, they're not very agitated, especially when it comes to mating season.
Right, right. And again, of course, like you said, a cat can have so many kittens. So right then and there, we address the problem or the potential problems that we need to, that we might need, that we would probably be facing. It seems like we're going to have a population problem with all of these things, and usually many of the